Ratnam garu, are you ready? 1 second, please wait, Satiji. Let her be ready.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Are you ready to take the class? Sorry, this lecture?
Yes, sir. With your blessings, I will start.
Yeah, sure, definitely. See, Swatiji, start.
It started, sir.
Yeah, please, Ratnamji, please introduce yourself. And now the topic is, I will tell. Dr. Ratna is a retired professor of physics, I think. She will explain about herself better. And now the topic name is concept of origin of universe and other scientific facts as mentioned in the various shastras of ancient Bharatvarsha. This is the topic of Dr. Challa. Please start.
Thank you, sir. And
please introduce yourself and then go ahead.
I start with the Prarthana Slokam, sir. Om Suklam Bharadharam Vishnum Sasivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Jayet Sarva Vigno Prashantaye Saraswati Namastubhyam Varde Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatme Sada Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheswara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Harihi Om. Namaskar. Sarvebhyo Namaha. My name is Dr. Challa. I have worked for 30 years, in fact 33 years as a physics lecturer, and I've got my doctorate in physics. Dr. Prahlad Kumar was my professor in MSc, and and I have been introduced into this Veda Samskruti Samiti only from August 2021. First of all, I thank all the elders and scholars of Veda Samskruti Samiti for conducting these webinars and patiently reviewing my paper and selecting my paper for presenting in this August audience. This is the first time I am writing a paper in this genre. Though being a doctorate in physics, I have presented many papers in seminars relating to physics. I'm fortunate to be introduced to this, to the Veda Samskruti Samiti for learning about the Veda Vangmayam. After hearing the wonderful lectures being presented in the VSS seminars on Saturdays and Sundays, I started reading some books authored by eminent scholars of Sanskrit literature and shastras. Though in 2005, I had the opportunity to be present in the several conferences being conducted by ISERF and Sri Ramanuja Mission Trust earlier. At that time, my knowledge of Sanskrit was totally zero, and I was fortunate to listen to so many people and wondered that these people are having so much of knowledge in all our ancient shastras, and one day I should also learn Sanskrit and be able to talk or be in the presence of these. And today I'm fortunate to the Almighty for giving me this opportunity. And after after that, I have read many books on the which are giving several new facts and truths of our universe and its creations, given in our Veda Vangmayam. And in this present paper, I am humbly presenting my little knowledge before you, and I humbly request all of you, in case my observations and inferences are wrong, you may please correct me. Now, having heard such wonderful lectures by Professor Achireddy Garu and Varun Bharadwaj, my knowledge or my presentation is in fact very at a fundamental level, but still I would like to present my paper because there may be several people who are like me, not well knowledge, but they may be at the introductory level like me. So for the benefit of all those also, I would definitely like to present the little knowledge that I have. With this, I start my topic. My 1 minute. With I will be. I will give the PPT presentation. Am I allowed to share the screen, sir?
Yes, allowed.
Okay. Where?
Allowed.
PPT PPT
ఇదేనా?
అది కాదు అది PPT కాదు.
No, this is not the one. Okay.
PPT open చేయండి.
This where is PPT? One minute, sir.
Close.
Please remove this. Please remove this one. No, please remove. Where is my PPT? Oh, remove this, Kara.
Double click.
Sir, can you see my PPT, sir?
Yeah, I'm seeing, but Bhanu Pratyusha is we are seeing, but that is to be removed, he said, no?
Yes.
Yeah, it is to be removed and new one is to be started.
Yes.
Remove that first, put the that arrow into mark, click that into mark, it will go. Then again put the new one.
Okay.
That click that X mark.
Where is the
The
Where
top
it
right hand
is?
side. Top right, it is there. Click that, it will go.
Oh, okay. Now.
Yeah, now start again.
Okay.
You go to the correct file and then click it.
Okay.
Double click 2 times. 2 times.
Okay. Okay, sir. Can you see?
Not seen. I'm not seeing.
See, this is not coming.
It's not coming. Not coming.
Then screen share. Read it.
Ma'am, select entire screen and then maybe don't go to PPT mode. Yes, we can see.
Yeah, now it has come. Origin of the universe. It has come now. Go ahead.
Yes, the topic is the concept of origin of universe and other scientific facts as mentioned in the various shastras of ancient Bharatvarsha.
Yeah.
Where is this?
Next slide. Next slide. Go to next.
Okay. So the main contents of the topics that are discussed in this paper are explanation of the topic, meaning of the term Veda as given in some renowned texts, and origin of Vedas as given in Shastras, and concept of universe as given by Parashar Maharshi, Shruti Vakyas in Sanskrit, meaning of the Shrutis, Shruti Vakyas, the process of creation of Svetavaraha Kalpa, Surya Siddhanta is propounded by Dagada Maharshi, and the definition of radius of Akasha Kaksha, properties of solar rays, introduction given in the Amsabodhini Shastra propounded by Bharadwaja Maharshi, translation and meaning in English, the creation of Svetavaraha Kalpa is given in Ansubodhini Shastra, Sula Sukshma Karala Srishti, and then Vaiseshika Shastram, the original text of Vimana Shastram, experiments of Professor C.S.R. Prabhu, some achievements of Professor C.S.R. Prabhu, names of some ancient texts, Prasthana Trayas, and some references studied in the present paper. So the first, start the paper, the Mangala Charanam that is given in the so many tests. Because that is the tradition of our Samskrita Vangmaya to give our salutation to the Almighty. Yajjoshitam jyotiriti prachakshate yadan subhit sarva jagat prakashaha yadbhasate sarvahati swayam prabha tameva bhantam pranatosmi nityam idan sumadanat divyamrityayam yadan sumadanat divyamadityayam jata vedasam Vahanti ketavon nityam tannatvan suprabhakaram. The translation of this Mangala Charanam, to that light which is proclaimed by the learned to be the giver of light, to all the luminous objects such as the sun, moon, stars, lightning, and so on, whose luminous rays illuminate the entire inanimate universe, and which is without the aid of any external object, self-effulgent, and shines in the hearts of all human beings, of all beings, as if a mere sakshi. And to that self-effulgent light of Paramatma, in the presence of which, as the Shruti says, no other luminous object can shine, I offer my salutation. Then you have Shruti Vakya from Rig Veda saying, Rupam Rupam Tatirupo Babhuva Tadasya Rupam Pratichakshanaya. He became the original form of every form. It is his form that is everywhere to be seen. So, Sorry, I have missed one.
This is the slide.
Right?
Yes.
Yes.
Go ahead.
One minute. The ancient Bharatavarsha had witnessed the fame and glory of the empires of the monarchs or Chakravartis such as Surya Vamsha, Chandra Vamsha, Agni Vamsha, long before any other civilization existed in the world. The glory of these dynasties is reflected in the richness of knowledge attained by the Maharshis during these periods, owing to the study of the Vedas, Upanishads, and Shastras. These Vedas are said to be Apaurusheyas, meaning not written by any human. They are said to be of divine origin. The Shastras are sciences revealed to the Maharshis during meditation called Spuranam from their study and understanding of the Vedas. The word Veda means knowledge and more. In his book Science and Technology in Vedas and Shastras, Dr. VSS Webinar explained the meaning of the Veda like this. The Sanskrit Veda has Vid as its dhatu or elemental component. At its gross level of understanding, it is a verb meaning to know. Vedic scholars have not stopped with mere understanding of this. They have delved deeper to realize and stated as with vicharine, with sattayam, with jnane, with labhe. Etesham dhatunam vishe vartante yasmat tato veda ityuktaha. Dr. Avadhanlu quotes the above verse from Veda Ratnam and gives its meaning as with its inquiry and contemplation. With is to be or to exist. With is to be illumined with knowledge. With is to obtain and benefit. Because these aspects are subject matter of the dhatu or elemental component with, the word Veda is formed providing the same. Sorry. The logic of materialistic science fails when observers are concerned. How can inanimate matter governed by physical laws lead to the mind? To bring in consciousness as a separate category like space, time, matter, as suggested by many physicists and neuroscientists, leads to further paradox. This very issue was considered with great subtlety in the Vedic tradition of ancient Bharata. Our knowledge of the physical world is based on empirical associations. These associations reveal the laws of the physical world. But how do we study the nature of consciousness? There is no way to observe one's own awareness. The Vedas deal precisely with this central question of the nature of knowledge. The consciousness aspect of the Vedas was emphasized most emphatically by Sri Dayananda Swami, who has lived from 1824 to 1883, and Maharshi Aurobindo, who has lived from 1872 to 1950. So now we got the concept of the concept of origin of universe. This question, the concept of origin of universe, many argue, but what is this concept? Is the universe, does it mean there is a beginning for the universe? Or there is somebody who has created the universe? And it has been several questions arise from this concept of universe. But our Veda Vagnmaya gives its meaning as a very confident argument, saying that time or kala is of two kinds, avakya or limited, and vakya as unlimited. Sorry, did I tell it wrong? Avakya or unlimited, and vakya as limited. The unlimited time is also called avyakta or unmanifested. This is also referred to as nirguna. This is the unmanifested state of Brahman in philosophical works. On the other hand, astrological texts like Surya Siddhanta declare that the same unlimited time in the form of Avyakta Brahman converts into the state of Vyakta or the state of limited time or manifested state and extends through the universe according to the kalpa concerned in order to manifest into the Saguna state of Brahman. In modern scientific theories, this state is termed as primordial state of matter. Maharshi Parashara, in the 11th aphorism or the Sruti Vakya of the 5th chapter of his Andakaustubha Shastra, which reads as Mahakalpa Trishashtuttara Satam, explains the extent of limited time as the limited time extends over 360 Mahakalpas. The Mahakalpas start from Parashakti Kalpa and end with the Sadasiva Kalpa. The process of creation during each Kalpa is conducted by the Lord of that Kalpa. This is given in this is mentioned in the Shruti Vakyas. Atha kalpa srushti ratmamat suryena parashakyadya sadasivaha kalpantam yathakrama mahakalpa shruti mahakalpa chatushashti iti shastram vinirnayaha jagat srushtihi kramateshu tat kalpadikaribihi tat kalpa sruti proktaritya nana prakaratah annanat prabhedena srujyate purva kalpavat evam hi svetvarah kalpa Sutyanusarataha. Thus, the creation of the Svetavaraha Kalpa is conducted by Surya, the sun. Since he is identical with the Paramatma, according to the axioms that have been mentioned above. In the later aphorisms of the Shruti Vakyas, numbering from 4 to 33, it is mentioned that the process of creation of the present universe is similar to the process of creation of the previous kalpas. The present Svetavaraha Kalpa has been, the present Svetavaraha Kalpa has been calculated to be 148th Mahakalpa, according to the mathematics of Valmiki Maharshi. As mentioned in the aphorisms given above, the process of creation of any kalpa is the same. The process of creation of Svetavaraha Kalpa is also explained according to the Shruti Vakyas, which are briefly explained in many Puranas and Itihasas. I forgive for writing late. That is wrongly written. Sri Madhura Krishnamurti Shastri, who is a renowned astrologer and Ganita Siddhanta scholar from Rajahmundry. I mistook Sri Madhura Krishnamurti Shastri as recently Malladi Krishnamurti Shastri. I just instead of that I wrote late. I forgive. Please forgive me for adding that. Who is a renowned scholar, renowned astrologer, and Ganita Shastra Veda from Rajahmundry. He studied the astronomical texts like Surya Siddhanta and stated that in the 90th verse of the 12th chapter, information about the sun and his rays is given. It is stated that the sun bestows illumination to the entire universe, and the orbit of the illumination in the sky is called Akasha Kaksha. The measurement of the radius in yojanas is also furnished. As you all know, the yojana is a measurement of astronomical distances, and the Google gives us wonderful figures of the conversion. But in the Surya Siddhanta, the measurement is given in the form of verses. Sorry, I lost. In the verse, Kakaksha Yojana Manamaha, the measurement of Akasha Kaksha. Now, by the definition that is given, the Akasha Kaksha, we can mean that it is the measurement of the universe as we see it today from our Earth. But according to the modern scientists, the universe, our universe, is Milky Way galaxy, it is called, but that is not restricted to only our galaxy. There are several other galaxies also present, and whether this Akasha Kaksha is given the measurement of all the entire galaxies and all, I'm not sure about. I cannot talk about it. The elders can give me information. But the verse giving the measurement, Kavyoma Khatraya Kasagara Pushkanaga Vyomashta Shunyayam Supa Nagashta Chandraha Brahmanda Samputa Paribhramanam Samanta Dabhyantare Dinakarasya Prakara Prasada. The solar radius is called Akasha Kaksha. It is spherical. Again, it's lost. It is again lost. Sorry. Okay. I'm hearing some sounds, sir. The solar radius is called Akasha Kaksha, and it is spherical and measured as the number that is given here is a very, very big number. I have converted as 1.8687 into 10 to the power of 16 yojanas. The rays of the sun will roam about in this orbit only. In other words, the solar ray orbit is defined as the distance in the outer space to which the rays of the sun can reach or spread. This distance is very impossible to measure, but our ancient rishis who are the Vedic scientists, have given a formula or theorem for the calculation of the extent of the sun, rays of the sun. And it is Kalpokta Chandra Bhagana Gunita Shashik Kakshaya Akasha Kaksha Sangeya Karavyapti Sadharate. Kalpachandra Bhaganamulu into Chandra Kaksha is equal to Akasha Kaksha. That is what Madhura Krishnamurti Shastri Garu has also mentioned. And he states that in the Bhavishya Purana, Brahma Parva 78, the 11th Adhyaya, the following details regarding the sun, the rays of the sun are given. Yata Pushpam Kadambasya Samantat Ke Saraivritam Tadhaiva Tejasam Golam Samantat Rashmi Bhivritam Sahasrasisha Purushaha Brahmam Yoga Mudaharan Teja Sarva Sasyasya Godasya Satumadhye Vyavasitaha. The solar globe is full of brilliant rays and radiance, just as the Kadamba flower is full of inflorescence. At the center of this brilliant globe, the Parama Purusha, or the Parabrahma, endowed with 1,000 heads, is constant by his presence. That means he is shining brightly with his 1,000 rays. Just some time back, we had Professor Achireddy Garu mentioning the 7 and 10 rays of the sun. What I understand from that is that the 1,000 rays, the 1,000 rays, that is my understanding. I don't say that it is correct. The 1,000 rays is not a figure, but it means that it is more. Sahasram in Sanskrit doesn't mean counting 1,000, but it means many and several. So in that sense, the electromagnetic spectrum, the continuous spectrum that we witness when you are observing the spectrum of the solar system, solar rays, then we are giving a continuous spectrum. And if you further analyze all these several continuous spectrum, then we have so many other details that are coming to. And in the Surya Siddhanta, according to our Malladi Krishnamurti, along to Madhura Krishnamurti Shastri Garu, he mentions that there are they are above, they have different properties and can cause coldness and can cause coldness, heat, and rain. This is what is happening. Okay. ఏం చేసావు ఎందుకు అది ఇచ్చావు ఓకే ఐఎమ్ టాకింగ్ హియర్ sorry for disturbance. So they cause coldness, heat, and rain, and these 400 rays are of various shapes and cause rain, as mentioned in the following verse. Sahasrantatadikam Shita Varshoshna Vidisrayam Tesham Chatushatam Nadyo Varshate Chitramurtaya. There are several important properties of solar rays which are also mentioned in other various Shastras and Puranas. In the Vayu Purana, the relation between the solar rays and the stars and the planets is also given. The classification of all the other rays is also mentioned in the paper given by Madhura Krishnamurti Shastri Garu, which was presented in the Vedic, in the conference of Vedic astronomy and cosmology in 2006, conducted by the ISER under the chairmanship of Sri Kuppa Krishnamurti Shastri Garu. And that's how I got to know about this aspect. Then Professor Krishnamurti Shastri Garu at that time had given me this copy of the Ansubodhini Shastra and propounded by Bharadwaja Maharshi. And at that time, as I told you, I never knew about Sanskrit. So I could not venture to do anything about that this thing. But now that Professor Akil Mahodaya is teaching us the Sanskrit classes, and I'm learning a little bit. I have been able to read the book again and started the study. And this study is, that is the Togare, I forget the name of it. Okay, I will mention in the last differences. In that copy, the first chapter of Ansubodhini Shastra is given, and in that it is written that Lord Brahma addressed Bharadwaja Maharshi, who was doing penance in the name of Lord Brahma. And Lord Brahma was pleased, and he took him to Brahmaloka and showed him 4 shining heaps of Vedas, and gave sage Bharadwaja a handful from each heap of the Vedas, and instructed him to establish them in Bhuloka, that is the earth. And the exact words that are presented in this are given in this PPT. I would love to read through that, but I'm afraid the time will not be sufficient to read on that. So then I will just give the meaning in English. the aggregate form of the Vedas that were given that were obtained by sage Bharadwaja was very difficult to learn. Henceforth, sage Vedavyasa split them into Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, and Atharvana Veda, and taught them to his disciples, Paingala, Vaishampayana, Jaimani, Sumanta, who in turn further split the Vedas, all the four Vedas, into branches and sub-branches. Eminent sages like Bharadwaja, Vedavyasa, Kashyapa, Angirasa, Alsvalayana, Bodhayana, Apastamba, Yajnavalkya, having studied and understanding all the Vedas, summarized into categories called Smriti, Puranas, Itihasas, Dharma Sutras, Kalpa Sutras, and Brahmanas. They composed various Shastras for the benefit of mankind. These sacred texts clearly explain the process of creation of the past Kalpas and the present Shvetavaraha Kalpa. Maharshi Bharadwaja studied the phraseologies like Atakalpa Srushtiratmavat Suryena. All creation emanates from the Surya, which was given in Atharvana Veda and Suryopanishad. He stated that three kinds of creation, gross or sthula, subtle or sukshma, and causative, karana, which result from the powers of the solar rays. This is also mentioned in the Shruti Vakyas, explanation that was given in the book by Sri Togore Subbaraya Shastri Garu. And in order to demonstrate his theories, of gross creation, that is Sthula Srishti, sage Bharadwaja, who was a scientist, as people call, he invented several manis or crystals, such as Kirana Vibhajaka Mani, ray dispersion crystals, mentioned in a work known as Mani Prakarana, probably identical with the present day theory of crystals and crystallography. He also the reason I'm giving you the parallels in modern physics or modern science is that we can identify our knowledge with the Veda Vagmaya. So as the topic goes, all the roots of the modern science is in the Vedic literature. Then he also invented several varieties of glass, such as Kaladini, described in Darpana Prakarana, theory of mirrors. He also invented some appliances and machines, such as Kirana Shakti Vibhajaka Yantra, ray energy dispersing instrument, probably something like spectrometers, which are detailed in the Yantra Prakarana, theory of instruments or instrumentation. He also described the formation of some acids in Dravaka Prakarana, theory of fluids or fluid mechanics. In order to demonstrate how the subtle creation, Sukshma Srishti, I recollect just now in the Rigveda explanation that Professor Achira Edgari was mentioning, the grass creation is identical with the Pantabhutas. I feel this is what I don't understand. I did not understand properly. But in order to demonstrate the subtle creation of Sukshma Srishti, it is taking place, the subtle forces of the solar rays, Sage Bharadwaja propounded subtle means such as Vastu and Samyamanam, etc., described in Yoga Shastra. In order to demonstrate causative creation, Karana Srishti, that emanates from the causative forces of the solar energy, says Bharadwaja, uh, propounded metaphysical arguments and reasoning, vichara, dealt with in Vedanta Shastra. Bharadwaj Maharshi incorporated all the above explanations lucidly and clearly in the text called Amsubodhini, in the form of aphorisms or Sruti Vakyas, extending to 1,000 sections, characterized under 12 chapters. And I'm fortunate to get only the first chapter with me. In his research paper, High Technology in Ancient Sanskrit Manuscripts, Professor C.S.R. Prabhu has presented significant facts related to Vimana Shastra of Sage Bharadwaja. He says that the Vimana Shastra deals with advanced metallurgy, material science, machine design, mechanical engineering, and rocketry. The text describes detailed procedures in the preparation of several hundreds of materials, such as alloys and glasses, which are unknown to modern science. Most of these materials can be reproduced in the modern laboratories. Some of the principles of metallurgy which are detailed in the textual description indicates an advanced development in technology and engineering in the ancient Bharata Vedic periods. Dr. Prabhu and his team have conducted several laboratory experiments following the principles given in the Vimana Shastra and have successfully reproduced several materials and machines. They tested the properties of the materials reproduced by them and found them to have extraordinary properties and unknown in the modern material science textbooks. One machine, Vakra Prasarana Yantra, was reproduced as a working model which was found to be a novel gear mechanism with 16 gear wheels. I feel that all the young scientists that are there in our modern day, our country today, must also conduct such type of experiments that are which are there in the ancient texts that are available to us, and try to explain to the world that these are the several facts that are there in our ancient textbook. And then only I think the present modern world will be able to accept the greatness of the ancient texts. Though the German scientists, the Chinese, and the Americans, and everybody know about these scientific texts that are ancient Vedic periods had been, and they have possessed them. That is why, but they are silent because they do not want to encourage these things belong to the Bharatavarsha. That is where we have to learn and practically conduct the experiments given in the ancient scripts and prove to the world that we own these scriptures and they could conduct. So, in the Bharatwaja Maharshi's Vaimanic Shastra, there is an intriguing uh, uh, there's an intriguing list of Vimana capabilities, particularly what is called as countermeasures. You'll be astonished to know that such facilities were available to our ancient rishis or the ancient Vedic period. People who are fortunate to be in that Vedic generation had the privilege to see such things like the means to follow view remote images on screens, listen to remote sounds, disguise the Vimana as clouds or other images, create terrifying sounds, and so on. There is an extensive discussion of the various types of Vimanas and their construction, including that can double as boats or submarines. There are discourses on the structure of the atmosphere, aeronautic hazards, and how to avoid them. There is also a section on diet and clothing for aviators. A subject of interest is the discussion of the flying through various epochs or yugas. In the earliest, most spiritual yuga, people could fly without any mechanical contribution. I think by the yogic practices, they could accomplish such type of things. The scholars of ancient India indeed cared more for spiritual welfare than for mundane happiness. In this pursuit, this made them to conduct laborious investigation to find the real state of Brahman, which is the abode of eternal bliss. With this aim, they conducted research work and experiments in all the conceivable fields of sciences. With the experience thus gained, the ancient uh, rishis composed various shastras for the good of mankind. Of these shastras, the religious and philosophical texts deal with Brahman as the primary uh, object and scientific truths as secondary subjects, while the scientific works treat about the scientific principles that govern the creation of the universe and the creations therein as the primary aim, though the ultimate object of research is the Brahman itself. Maharshi Bharadwaja is an august name in the pantheon of Hindu sages who recorded Indian civilization in the spiritual, intellectual, and scientific fields in the hoary past. They transmitted knowledge from mouth to mouth and from year to year for long eras. Written subsequent transmissions through birch barks or palm leaves or homemade paper are from this side of 1,000 years. Even they are found in mangled forms owing to the depredation of time, weather, and insect hordes. Unfortunately, this is the negligence of the people of our people, and we cannot blame anyone to be the reason for being lost. But definitely, the rest of the world was clever enough to preserve all such texts. And today, we are fortunate that there are some people who have preserved these texts and which are revived by organizations like ISERF and many such organizations who are working in this direction, who are able to revive all these ancient knowledge that was there in the ancient Vedic periods. Then, according to another school of thought, universal consciousness as a unity is called as an entity, as a unity is called Shiva or Bhairava. The Shiva makes it possible for the material associations of the physical world to have meaning. The aphorisms of Shiva, called Shiva Suktas, are a late reiteration of the Vedic view of consciousness. According to a legend, Vasugupta from 800 Common Era in Kashmir saw the aphorisms in his dream, or the Shiva Sutras in his dream. Shiva Sutras led to the flowering of Kashmir school of consciousness, Kashmir Shaivism. It is due to a very clear exposition of the issues in Kashmir. Shaivism had come to be quite influential in contemporary scholarship. Further, philosophical, psychic, religious, physical, metaphysical, chemical, medical, alchemic, and other branches of science are so blended together in other works that it is not easy to draw clear lines of demarcation between them. Some of the Shastras, we need to, some of the
Madam,
Shastras, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
how much time we take for this?
Just about 10 minutes more, sir.
Yeah, please close it.
Okay, sir. Some of the other, because I just want to enumerate the names of the other Shastras that we know, just for the welfare of everybody, knowledge of everybody. So that's right. Sorry, sir. Thank you.
No problem. Time is crossing. That's why I'm just saying. If you have got any important point to be
Yes,
brought to the
sir.
notice, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Shakti Tantra, given by Maharshi Agastya. This word explains 32 kinds of energies like electricity and also of the various machinery and other appliances which can be invented by its help. Then Shuddha Vidya Kalapa, propounded by Maharshi Aswalayana. This Shastra deals with the following points: the state of the universe prior to the creation, the cause of creation of the universe, the varieties and wonders of creations of Ishvara and that of Jiva. Many other very interesting points are also explained in this Shastra. The Brahmanda Shastra, given by Maharshi Vedavyasa. In this Shastra, the characteristics of many Brahmandas or universes, such as their dimensions, the movable and immovable phenomena existing in them, and other gross and subtle methods of finding them, and many other points of practical utility are explained. Then we have Amsubodhini Shastra, as I have discussed, and in the Shastra, it is in fact like a physics textbook. Bhautika, the Bhautika Shastra, that is what it is mentioned, and a clear description is also given of its content. And after the creation of the universe, then we have under Kaustubha Shastra, then Kaumudi, Meghotpatti Prakarana by Maharshi Angirasa, Akasha Tantra by Maharshi Bharadwaja, Loka Sangraha by Vivaranacharya, Agasattva Lahari by Aswalani Maharshi, Prapancha Lahari by Vashishta Maharshi, by Yanta Sarvasva by Said Bharadwaja, Loha Tantra by Shakatayan Maharshi, Kera Sarvasva by Jaimini Maharshi, Karmabdi Sara by Atmasanda Maharshi, Dhatu Sarvasvam by Bodhayan Maharshi, Rig Hridayam by Atri Maharshi, Namartha Kalpa by Atri Maharshi, Vai Tattvam by Shakatayan Maharshi, Vaiswanara Tantra by Narada Maharshi, Dhuma Prakaranam by Narada Maharshi, Aushadhi Kalpam by Atri Maharshi, Karaka Prakarana by Atri Maharshi. The reason why I wanted to mention all this, we have been listening to all these Rishi names by either our Gotas or in our Puranas, we have been listening to them, but that they are also scientists and they have dealt with subjects of science is of great knowledge to us. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. And the Vayuvega Pramana and the Parakaya Pravesa and the traveling with the speed of light, speed of the mind, Manovega Prayana. These things we have heard of in our discussions with the great scholars are also there in this. And then we have so many shastras and there is, because in each kalpa, there have been innumerable such Vedas. We have the effervescence like Anantavai Veda and Ananta Shastram Bahuveditabhyam. So there are so many texts that have been developed by our Maharshis. So therefore, they have categorized them into Prasthanatrayas. And each Prasthanatraya is a Shastric catalogue of only principal Shastras, which will be in force for 5,000 years. And then after which, a new Prasthanatraya will be defined. This is done in accordance to the necessity of that period of time. From the first creation of the universe, it has been calculated that there have been 391,176 such Prasthanatrayas which have come into force and gone. And the present Prasthanatraya is the 391,177th Prasthanatraya. In the Shastra Nirnayadhikara, in his work, Shishti Vilasa, the Maharshi Sukha, who is famously, who is popularly known to relate all the Puranas to his Sishyas in Naimisharanya, he says that the present Prasthanatraya is of two kinds, Brihat Prasthanatraya and Laghu Prasthanatraya, and the calculation and time is calculated by I think we have according to the different times which are given as Brahma era, and then you have the Brahma period, and then 1 minute, I'll just give the correct. Human is made under 3 tables of time. The human, the divine or Daiva, and the Brahma periods of time. So the modern astronomical and astrophysical scientists are unveiling many more astonishing aspects of the universe with the help of latest sophisticated scientific equipment. If they also take information from the ancient Bharata Varsha texts with due respect and with belief, then many more secrets of the universe can be revealed for the benefit of mankind. Dharmo rakshati rakshataha. The references that I have made, I've given in the last slide. As I told you, I have been mentioning their names, and I have taken the Shiva Sutras by Sri Subhash Kak, who has also done a lot of study. I thank Dr. VSS Webinar, Professor CSR Prabhu, Madhura Krishnamurti Shastri, and Professor Kuppa Krishnamurti Shastri, and several others, and all the learned professors and the lectures given by Veda Samskruti Samiti for making me understand the importance of the ancient text, and then making this small attempt to present in this august audience. Thank you very much, Acharya.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Excellent. Your compilation of the various granthas and its requirement and its what they have studied, what they have given us to us, a wealth of the knowledge you have exhibited. It's very nice of you. Now, any more questions? Any questions from anybody? People are probably got tired. 3 hours is too much time for them to hold.
Sorry, sir. Sorry,
no problem. Not you. Also, this our program itself is like that. So, anybody who would like to react and ask for questions or give their thoughts, welcome. Swagatam.
But today, Professor Achireddy's knowledge of Rigveda was very much enlightening, and Varun Bharadwaj's lecture was also superb.
Thank you.
I'm thankful to all of you.
Anybody would like to put a question? If no questions, everybody got tired, it seems. I'll ask Visalakshmi Mata to.
No.
Yeah. Vivekji, you would like to speak? Vivekji?
Yes, sir. I just want to ask one question.
Yeah,
Ma'am,
Yes, sir.
Naman Mataji, I just want to ask that in the Arya, Aryabhatji has said that the utpatti of the whole universe have started from this Vasudev, and he has instructed to Purush and Prakriti to make this Srishti. But we have a very different concept from the Sankhya point of view. So how you see that in both the philosophies? One is from the Vaishnava point of view, because Aryabhat was also a Vaishnava. He had given the concept of the Param Brahma, and in the Sankhya we have the very different concept. So how you correlate for the origin of the universe?
Thank you, sir, for questioning this question. And now, according to me, Aryabhata was a much later version of the ancient rishis that have given their knowledge to us from the very beginning of this.
The person has call captions enabled. Please start speaking.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. According to me, the Aryabhata is from a later period compared to the ancient Maharshis that we are speaking about. and their knowledge is the original knowledge of the Vedas, and they got that knowledge from meditation and Spuranam. And today also we are able to test them and know the truths because of the truth that they have thought of. So that means over the ages, their words are more correct. And Veda stands for truth, the absolute truth. So therefore, I feel that yes, Aryabhata gave the number 0 for the benefit of mankind, but I don't think that he was from the origin of the universe. Sorry about that.
Anybody else? Murthy would like to speak. She was speaking nicer number of times. So can you throw light on that, Murthy garu, KVRS Murthy garu? Murthy garu, are you there? Anybody else would like to speak, or shall I close the session? Okay, who is speaking? Upaluri.
Sir, excuse me.
Subramanya sir.
Yes, sir. I want to ask Madam 2 questions. She was a professor of physics. We have in Tarkshastra 7 Padardhas. In VSS Shastra, we have 16 Padardhas. Whereas as per physics, we have 1 or 2 elements. Any comparison is made actually to link with this 1 or 2 elements and with this 16 or 7 Padardhas as Vaiseshika or Nyaya.
Yes, sir, according to what I know, the ancient Mahatris, I mean, the Dravaka Prakarna or the other material science that was mentioned by Sage Bharadwaja, as I have read that Shastra now, I feel that they knew about alloys and mixing of different components. And as Professor Prabhu has connected the experiments, he has also found they are having so many properties that are not mentioned in the modern material science textbooks. So naturally, the periodic table that we have come to know is definitely a good research that was conducted by our modern times scientists from say the 17th or the 15th, 16th centuries, but still it lacks the knowledge that was there in the original ancient texts of Bharatavarsha. So that is why I feel the modern science scientists should also refer to the ancient textbooks and get more knowledge and conduct their experiments with all those things. And then the number of 108 will definitely increase in many more times. Thank you.
See, the number is a mandate variable, not in 180, 147 something is there. See, all these 147 comes under different families. That families, metals family, non-metals family, like that. So similarly, that could be the family they have mentioned. They must have mentioned. They must have mentioned all the things, the allies, or sorry, the subsequent elements that have been came forward by the recent scientists. The modern science is definitely an advanced science. There's no doubt in that. A lot of research has been done. A lot of things have been brought out. But we should not forget the roots that were there in earlier Shastras. And everything is bought on only purchased, only discovered recently, only past 400 years. That is the wrong thing. The main thing is that all these things were there earlier in a different fashion, in a different way, in a group way. That has to be acknowledged. That knowledge is to be known to our public also, our younger generation also. It's not just everything is new, discovered 300-400 years back. It has been discovered long back by us also, our scientists. That's what is to be known to us, known to our people. And that fact should be there in every textbook. In every textbook, in first page, it should speak that. Why they are not writing about that? Why they are not acknowledging that? And the knowledge was already there, existing in the universe, in the country, in the world, in future, in the past. I should say that only the Pythagoras has discovered the theorem. The Pythagoras theorem was there in 2500 years back by Bodhayana. Zero was discovered long back by Arya, but that was mentioned somewhere. Sometimes they mention, sometimes they don't mention also. Similar algebra, trigonometry, calculus, all these things, roots were there in our mathematics, Ganita, Leelavati Ganita, and other Ganitams. When they write these textbooks, why don't they mention a para or a book or a chapter in the beginning which concerns to the Sanskrit Vangmaya? That effort has to be done by us. That effort has to be done by our education department. So with this,
1 minute, I would like to add, Acharya. The concept of Veda is just a group of statements that were just given by them, and people thought that they are Vedas and they are eternal. That type of comments also I have heard by some modern critics. But I want to say that just like our Euclidean geometry starts with, we have so many theorems, and each theorem we have a hypothesis, then we have the observation, then we have the construction, and then we have the proof, which the previous knowledge is also used, and then you have the last sentence, the phrase QED, quad error demonstrative. What had to be proved has been proved. So this type of procedure, the scientific methods, is followed by every branch of science in the modern science books, but they also, the ancient rishis also started, they have used this same method while taking the Srutivakyas through contemplation, through observation, then testing them by conducting experiments, and then giving their inference, and then proving that the Srutivakya is true. That is what the Shastras are containing. That way they are the original scientists, and we are definitely with science knowledge, no doubt about it. Whether we are, I in my 67 years, I am knowing something in these years. That means that this is my knowledge, but I cannot forget the roots of this knowledge. That is what we have to accept and go ahead. That is what I feel, Guruji.
yeah, correct. You have told the facts. So now we have here our Shiva Chennupati, who has given an excellent paper for us out of 50 papers, and probably has scored a law at the top level. So because he has innovated some machine also based on the Bharadwaj Shastra. So taking the leads from that, I mean, may not be exactly Bharadwaj Shastram, but it's shown there, but the taking leads from Bharadwaj Shastram, he has invented a small, got a patent also. So I will ask you to share the audience. Shiva, your lecture will be there next week.
Thank you very much for this information, sir. I'm not aware of this.
Yeah.
Yes, I would like to add. I would like to add some comments here. Actually, I mean, I've missed the first two papers. I learned a lot. It's really excellent knowledge, but I have, based on what I have worked, so I'm sorry to say that it's not my invention. I just reinvented what was already invented 8,000 years ago.
Okay.
So this is what I figured out. And I just want to add a comment to what you said, actually. We think that the modern science is far more advanced, but in my opinion, it's my opinion. Others may have a different opinion. I'm sorry if I object to other people. The modern science is still in the kindergarten stage. And
no, I didn't say they are advanced. I said they have invented so many things.
Exactly.
Based on certain roots. That's what I told.
I agree
so
with you.
We cannot deny that fact, I said.
Yeah. The Vedic science is so advanced, and if you tell this to a kindergarten student, he will not understand it. And this is the fundamental problem we have today, and which we are not able to explain to a kindergarten student or a kindergarten boy or a girl. it's really so advanced. So it will need around 200 to 300 years more for the modern science to understand what is all in this our Vedic science. This is just
we need nursery trained teachers.
Yeah.
We need Vedic scholars as nursery trained teachers.
Yes.
We need Vedic scholars for that.
Thank you very much.
I would like to add here, sir.
Vedic plus modern science. The people who know Vedic science as well as modern science, those type of combination people are required now to make these kindergarten people to understand what is correct.
Exactly.
What is originally is there.
I would like to add here, sir. A kindergarten student was blank before he entered school. So, if the proper things are taught to them in the kindergarten itself, then his roots will be definitely the one that we are aspiring. So, he should be taught the right knowledge by right type of people who are knowing all this information, and then only he will be better equipped for taking the world progress. Because tomorrow,
Correct. The fallacy is we have a short of time, of course, but fallacy is we have lost many treasures of textbooks or many manuscripts. So the whatever we have with that, at least that is to be research to be done now and made it public. That is, efforts are to be made. That's what is going on now. We are trying to do whatever best possible to expose it.
Several authors have written very good books, which I am able to possess them now right from market and read them. This procedure, I think everybody has to follow to know what has been already done and our ancient texts.
Anybody would like to share? Shall I close otherwise? Hari Om. Visalakshmi garu, Upasamharam.
Namaskaram. Sabhaye Namaha. Today's last session, that is the speaker is Dr. Challa Ratnam.
One second. Swamini is there. I would like to request her whether she would like to speak. So Swamini ji, Sadvijananda ji, Mahodaya, are you there?
Yes.
Mahodaya, yeah. Would you like to share your views? Would you like to share your views, please?
Yeah. What I suggest for the creations and the original of that it's a two different points. So it's very difficult to explain them that what our way of creation is, because we say that creation is from the Lord. Yato va imani bhutani jayante. That is our Taittiriya Upanishad says, from which everything has been come into being. So the way they are talking and the way we are talking about the creation is completely opposite to each other. And therefore, of course, there are a lot of books are there, but we have to present in which manner where they can also accept our concept. But we cannot compare or we cannot try to align with their concept. And as you say that they are not at the point where they can understand our Veda and science. So let us find out the way where we can make a books or the lecture series where we can have a dialogue with these people about the creation, so that they can also understand our concept of creation, like Taittiriya Upanishad, Prashna Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad, everywhere the creation is being mentioned. Even Bhagavad Purana, a second chapter, whole chapter is about the creation, because it's a Sarga Skanda. Sarga Skanda means the creation. So we have to compile all the concepts in one book so that we can talk to them or we can present it to the modern science. That is what I can say.
So that type of effort is to be done. We have to build up the scholars in that respect, having the modern science, having the knowledge of modern science as well as the Vedic science. Both.
Actually, I already share in the book, the one book which is being published so many years before by Stephen Knapp, the creation, about the creation. So that book everybody can see, and that group I have mentioned that.
Okay, sir. Okay, ma. Okay.
Oh.
Okay, Mahoday. Namaste.
Namaste.
Dr. Prahalad ji, please. Prahalad Kumar, please share your views.
Namaskaram, sir.
Yeah, Japan, sir.
The basic point here I want to remind our friends here is Rigveda and other Vedas, Brahmanas and Aranyakas and Upanishads, they not only contain basically all ritual oriented and other things, they have been just reduced it to using Rigvedic mantras in yaga, and then they have been reduced it to put it in the form of philosophy, talking about all higher ends, moksha and all those things only. But whereas Rigvedic mantras contain lot of science, it has been totally ignored because they have been reduced to rituals and philosophy. And if you go to the roots of our Vedic suktas, I can cite here Asya Vamiya Sukta, which contains 52 mantras, and about 30 different disciplines of science are very clearly mentioned in the form of mantras.
What is Sukta name? What is Sukta name?
Asya Vamiya Sukta. 164 Sukta of first mandala. Rigveda. Okay. And that contains about nearly 30 disciplines of science, linguistics, creation, cosmology, astronomy, psychology, physiology. Every one of these mantras there can be interpreted because there are so many ways of interpreting even a simple Rigvedic mantra. When we talk, similarly, examples are our Mahabharata. If you take every time we talk about Draupadi having 5 husbands, but they don't forget that they are forgetting that she is a symbol of, she is Yajnasena's daughter, Yagnaseni. What does it mean? That she is born out of a Yajna Kunda. And what is Yajna? Yajna originally, if you refer to all our Upanishads, Yajna is nothing but transformation of Atma, transformation of matter from one form to another form. That is Yajna. They have described 5 Yajnas, 5 different stages of Yajna in Upanishads. Therefore, when we talk, we were forgetting that this is a Yajna form of creation. Actually, it is 5 different stages of creation. That is Yajna. That we are forgetting, and we are trying to imitate that with material Yajnas, which has been considered as one of the crudest type of Yajna in Bhagavad Gita. Dravya Yajna is not a true Yajna. Actual Yajna is that which is performed in the Atma. Forgetting that, we have been resorting to just imitating all these things using Rigvedic mantras for everything. Even Vishnu Dharmottara mentions the use of every Rigvedic mantra as a part of ritual. Okay, I agree. Agnikarya is important, but what does it produce? The changes all over the world. If you do Agnikarya in our own house, that cleans up, purifies, does everything that is expected of a Pavana, Pavaka, Pavamana, Shuchi, 3 forms of Agni. Pramatya Agni, Dakshina Agni, Ahani Agni, these are all different forms of Agni. When we talk of Agni, and even somebody was mentioning Maruts, they are forgetting that the Maruts are actually not just, let us say, followers of Indra, but they are also described as very cruel, very powerful, very powerful astronomical phenomena. Rudra is prayed, you don't release your arrows at us, at our pashus, at our children. You divert your arrows towards something else. And what is Rudra? The very word has been mistranslated. It has been used in a very wrong manner all these days. Rudra, it is actually Rukara of Swara. Ruta becomes Rudra. That becomes Dra. Ruta is Darshani. Ruta is Jnani. Therefore, Rudra is not just a very powerful destructive god, but Rudra is one who maintains order, and he creates order out of disorder. Order, chaos. He is the one Jnanakaraka, and he also represents 3 types of Ahankara. He is located in the Agnya Chakra. People talk of Agnya Chakra and they talk of Kashi. That Agnya Chakra is nothing but our own Agnya Chakra, and where he is in charge of 3 types of Ahankaras. And we are just taking it as a ritual with Namakam Chamakam, pouring water on the Spatikalinga. But what is the original concept of Rudra, Namaka, Chamaka? We have forgotten. That is I am not saying that to deride Agnikarya or Abhishekas, but we are forgetting there are about 128 names of Agni. And this simple word Narayana, Adi Shankara has said, Narayana is the only word which can describe the Parabrahma completely. No other word can describe in the full sense as the single word Narayana. That's why Paramacharya Chandrasekhar Saraswati has also said, we still repeat, if somebody boasts to us, Narayana, 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 in all the letters we send to our, in the name of our Matha, we say, Narayana Smarana, Iti Narayana Smarana. Why that Narayana alone? Even though Adi Shankara was himself was a great devotee, he was a emphasizer of Bhakti Marga, but he was always saying, whenever I want to talk about Parabrahma, I talk about Narayana. And that Narayana word has got 128 meanings. Books have been available. We are forgetting all that. What is Narayana, Nara, Aya, Na? And if you analyze it, Ekakshar Nigantu, Bahupada Nigantu, Ekashabda Nigantu, all those Nigantus, we can go to the root of really saying the scientific content of all the 10,028 suktas of Rig Veda. And even Nasadiya Sutta is not just description of pure philosophical speculation. Nasadiya Sutta is actually wording of the creation of the cosmos from the Avyakta Swarupa. And that part has been ignored. And when we talk of Panchavyuha of Shiva, Panchavyuha of Shakti, Panchavyuha of Narayana, these are all the stages of creation which have been described in terms of this. Therefore, if we don't go to the roots, don't find out the different meanings of roots, and Chatvari Shrunga Trayavasipada, this has got 5 deities as devatas, and each one of those deities, Agni, Surya, Jala, Ghruta, Apa, Go, these are all having, at least each one of them has got about 40 different synonyms. And if you take all those synonyms, you can implement that one mantra alone, Chatvari Shrunga mantra alone, in 200 different ways. In 200, minimum of 200 different ways. You can apply to Surya, you can apply to Surya's solstice movements, you can apply to Surya's annual around the Milky Way galaxy, his rotation. The entire solar system is moving about a central point in the Milky Way galaxy, and that is your Mula Nakshatra. And Mula Nakshatra has got another name, Mula Barihini, that which is the source of everything that is coming out of that. And that is what we say, it is the supermassive black hole at the center of Milky Way galaxy. And Milky Way galaxy is not just this, it is the Akashaganga. And the word Daksha is also in Brahmanas, it is interpreted as the Swarupa of Prana. Daksha is Prana, and Prana Shakti is done, that is ruling from, moving from the Sahasrara to Mooladhara, and that is through the spine. And spine has got 14 different hormones flowing through that. That is your 14 rivers, 14 nadis. And these are all actually 16 people who are called Rutvijas, 16 Dhishanagnis, 16 nadis. Therefore, Narayana Shabda alone, it has got Narayana, Nalayana, Nadayana, Nadayana. These are the 4 variations of Narayana Shabda alone. Narayana, Ra becomes La, Nalayana, that becomes La, Nalayana, that becomes Da, Nadayana, that becomes Nadayana. Therefore, if you take all those variations, it gives us the roots of every one of those things. And Veda itself is not just, yes, sir.
Great. Nice of you, sir.
Thank you for giving me calling me and asking me for my opinion. I said nice only one point is, most of the presentations are, first presentation was without slides he has shown. Therefore, all this overall presentation, it goes off into the air. Better insist on a PPT presentation for the rest of the people.
Yeah, I mentioned already. I already mentioned to all the people.
So that
whoever could do it, they
slides,
could do.
when we see slides, it will be, and actually seeing is more communicative than just listening.
Yes, correct. Right. PPT presentation is required. Okay.
Sorry if I have disturbed any one of the
presenters. No. It's welcome, sir. Your advice is required. You please come every week and guide us.
I will try to do it as much as. And point is, they are trying to bring in a lot of things in a small scope. That is not really possible, because
take a small one and explain it better. That is better.
Take a small aspect of that. And even Ratnam's presentation also, she is mentioning so many Shastras. Has she really read all those Shastras? It is just picking up a quotation from some textbook is not really convenient. You should.
Yeah, that's okay.
Ah,
It's okay. But as I said, as I said, we have to take a subject and that should be properly explained. Okay,
Yes.
that is the real research. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Nice of you. And now I request Visalakshmi garu to close the Upasanharam, please.
Namaskaram to everybody. Today's Dr. Challa Ratnam garu took a very nice topic, the concept of origin of universe and other scientific facts as mentioned in the various Shastras of ancient Bharatavarsha. And she mostly concentrated on some other, that is the Shastras, and in a different viewpoint, she has explained the origin of universe and also about the objects and the that is scientifically she explained about the dravyas, etc. and the machines, the origination of machines, etc. she has explained. So from that point of view, this article is nice. And she has also mentioned about Parasar Maharshi and so many other Maharshis. And she might have worked for a lot, in fact, on this topic to gather such wonderful good material and quotations, and also from modern scientists and scholars. First of all, I congratulate her, Dr. Challa Ratnam garu, for her interest and enthusiasm in studying the great Sanskrit language and Samskrita Vangmayam and presenting such a nice paper. And mostly all of us, those who have studied either darshanas or Upanishads or our Indian philosophy, we want to explain the creation of universe, Vishwa, from the point of view of Vedas, Upanishads, darshanas, etc. In fact, a lot of information about the creation of universe, Srishti Krama, is given in many Upanishads like Aitareya Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad, etc. Swamini Sadvidyananda mentioned this Yatova Imani Putani Jayante, Yena Jatani Jivanti, Yet Priyanti Apisam Vishanti, Tadvijignasasva. That is the origin from where the whole universe is originated. Thus, in darshanas also, in Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaiseshika darshanas, Maharshis explained the Srishti Krama, the creation of universe. Thus, in Puranas also, in fact, this is all Puranas explain the origin of Srishti, and especially Bhagavata Purana. So this is the most important issue and most important topic, because Srishti Rahasya, we say, when the secret of the creation is known by anybody, he knows himself, he knows divinity, he himself becomes Brahman. Modern scientists also want to know about the creation of universe, creation of everything, the articles, etc. And Dr. Challa Ratnam garu spoke about Vachya, Avachya, that is Avyakta Parabrahman and all, from which Vyakta Brahman has come. Nasadiya Sukta also mentions that. And she spoke about Surya Siddhanta and so many other Siddhantas, Parasara Kalpa, Sadasiva Kalpa. From Parasara Kalpa to Sadasiva Kalpa, how these Kalpas originated, how this universe is created. And she spoke about very nicely. As far as her pursuit about this subject is really excellent, and she has done a very good job. I appreciate her, congratulate her for presenting such a beautiful article today.
Thank you, Amma. Thank you, Amma.
But in fact, the creation of universe means, I thought that, in fact, I suggested also at the time of valuing this paper, I suggested to inform the writer. I asked our Dr. Sri Akala Prabhakar Rao garu also to go through Taittiriya Upanishad, Upanishads, Puranas, Darshanas and all. So because from that perspective, the creation of Srishti is to be explained in detail, which would have enhanced this paper in a very perfect manner, I think, because different points of views will be there. From different drukkonas, we see the topic, we see the object. So from all the points of views, one person may not explain perfectly. So from the angle with which we observe the topic, the object, the thing, from that perspective, we explain. So it's okay. All the 3 lectures of today, they are very nicely presented. And the that is those who have Dr. Prahlad Kumar enriched this lecture, also giving very good advice. Swamini Sadvidyananda ji also that is enhanced, in fact, and so by her suggestions, very good suggestions to this topic. And all those, even Mr. Shiva also wanted to explain. That is, in fact, he very aptly explained. He said, very good. The one sentence he said, the modern science is still in the kindergarten stage. Really, that's very correct, apt quotation. All the modern scientists are modern rishis, we can say. In fact, in the olden days, when the Srishti started, the entire Srishti is created by the will of Parabrahman. So Ekoham Bahusyam, there it started, the Sankalpa. With the Sankalpa, that is Icha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti, we say. So with that willpower, just he wanted to create and he created. And after creating, the Parabrahman entered into the universe, entered into all living beings, entered into the body of human beings. That is how Aitareya Upanishad says. So the creation is there itself in all Upanishads, explained in very, very different levels. Akashad Vayuva, Atmana Akasha Sambhutaha, it says, from the Parabrahman, Akasha came. So Atmana Akasha Sambhutaha, Akashad Vayu, Vayoragni, Agnirapa, Apa Prithvi, Prithvyam Voshathayaha, Voshathi Pyonam, Annat Purushaha. That is how human beings and all living creatures came. This is one way of creation. Then even Jagadish Chandra Bose also, in fact, in another way explained about creation. All great personalities wanted to speak about the secrets of universe, that is the creation of universe, individual souls, and connection, their connection with the nature, the creation, and their relationship with Brahman, which is the ultimate source. Advaita says the Brahman itself is the universe. Vishwam Vishnu says even this Vishnu Sahasranama. So still we have to know a lot about the secrets of creation, divine power, divinity, and human beings, Jivatmas, Paramatmas, Prakriti, and their connection. All the scientists are now trying to get answers to all these questions through the knowledge of Vedas, the knowledge given in Vedas and Vaidika Vangmaya, Upanishads, Darsanas, Itihasas, and Puranas. So I thank one and all who have participated in today's this webinar session, which went for a long time. At 10 o'clock we started and it is 2:15 now. So I thank all the audience for their patience listening. I thank very much the Veda Samskruti Samiti for giving me this opportunity. I thank especially Dr. Akella Prabhakara Rao Garu for giving me this opportunity to talk a little. Thank one and all. Thank you.
You are Upadhyaya for our Veda Samskruti. You only responsible of conducting this, not me. So anyway, one more thing is correction. I am not doctor. I am just an ordinary A.H. Prabhakar Rao. Thank you very much for all you. Now we will close with Shanti Mantram and Janaganamana. Hari Om. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah. Sarve Santu Niramayah. Sarve Bhadrani Pasyantu. Mahakachit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sahana Vavatu. Sahanau Bhunaktu. Sahaviryankaravavahai. Tejasvina vadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Satyam vada dharmanchara. Sarve jana sukno bhavantu. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara. Guru Sakshat Param Brahma. Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Sarva Sri Krishna Arpanavastu. Idanama. Harihi Om. Janaganamana. With Janaganamana will close. Harihi Om. Janaganamana Adhinayaka. Jaya He Bharata Bhagya Vidhata. Punjab Sindhu Gujarat Maratha Dravida Utkala Vanga Vindhya Himachala Yamuna
Yamuna Ganga Uchala Jaladitaranga Tava Subhashisha Mahe Tava Subhashisha Mahe Gahe Tava Jaya Gada
Janagana
Mangala
Mangaladayaka
Nayaka
Jaya He
Jaya Bharata
Bharata Bhagya Vidhata
Jaya
Jaya
He
He Jaya He
Jaya
Jaya
He
He Jaya 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 He Jai Hind Jai
Hind.
Hind Jai Hind Jai Shri Ram Jai Shri Ram.
Om.
Namaskara.